In today's technologically advanced world, we are connected, it seems, with everybody all the time. We have access to information, we have access to news, we have access to each other. And as amazing as that seems, and as convenient as that is, it can also come at a price. Frankly, it can be exhausting, and it can lead to more stress in our lives. In other words, there is definitely a price to pay for having this always on mentality. That could be always having your news feed on, or your information sources on, whether that's the news, whether that's social media, whether that's notifications on your phone or on your computer. Always being reachable, be it by work, be it by other people, be it by friends, family, strangers, colleagues, whatever the case may be. But always being on does come at a price, and that price includes increased stress. When you are always on, whether you are constantly bombarded by notifications or others trying to reach you, reaching out to you, or you're simply in that mode, even if you do have breaks in between notifications and people reaching you. When you are in that mode, that puts you in a certain state of increased stress. So today, I want you to consider to give up that always on approach to things, always on approach to life, and allow yourself some time off. Time off from notifications, from news, from information, from social media, from always being connected to work, or being connected to work anytime outside of work hours, whether that's a couple of hours here and there, or on the weekend, or during your vacation, or during holidays. Being on all the time, even having that intention, having that mentality, can be stressful. You can lose sleep over it. You may have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. You may be finding yourself unable to concentrate. You may be more irritable, or you may just feel exhausted, just tired all the time. And this is very much likely to be connected to that always on way of life, always on mentality or intention. Even if you're not technically, literally always on, just having that intention to always be reachable, always be on, always having your notifications on, just that intention, just the state of mind can be exhausting. It can be stressful. So what are we to do in this modern society that's filled with amazing technology? Well, for one, you have to take charge of your life. You have to take charge of the technology in your life, and you have to take charge of when you are on and when you are off. You have to be intentional, purposeful. You have to be on purpose with this way of living. So when you want to be on, when you want to be reachable, when you want notifications to freely come at you, you do it during a time of your choosing because you want it. But you have to allow yourself time when you are off. Whether that means offline, whether that means unreachable, whether that means turning off notifications, whether that means disconnected from any and everything that's work related, whatever that needs to be for you. It has to be a conscious decision. It has to be something you schedule, and it has to be something that you actually follow through on doing. So thinking about it is step one. Implementing it is what will make the difference. So schedule times where you turn off the notifications. You don't pick up the phone or check emails from work. You don't check out social media or news feeds or whatever else that you have in your life that is part of that being on all the time experience. Schedule times during your day when you are not engaged in those things. That could be in the morning, that could be in the evening, that could be both, morning and evening. Whatever works for you and whatever you need it to be. That's the important thing. The other thing that can be incredibly helpful is to embrace and implement certain transition rituals into your life. What does that mean? For example, transitioning from work to your personal life after work. There may be certain things that you do, certain rituals, if you will. Maybe you turn off your work phone. Maybe you turn off notifications for your work email. Whatever it is that you need to do. For some people, it means listening to an audiobook on the way home or listening to some music after work to get you into that non-work space in your head and also physically. Maybe it's going for a walk. Maybe it's catching up with a family member. Whatever that transition looks like for you, you have to find out and decide for yourself. But it has to be something that is relatively definitive in terms of I'm moving away from my work day and into my non-work, into my private life part of my day. You could have a transition from day to night, maybe shortly before you go to bed. Maybe some people might take a shower, or maybe you get ready for bed, or maybe you take some time to read. Maybe you turn off all the screens. That means TV, computers, tablets, phones, so that you're not exposed to the blue light, which can be troublesome for many people, keeping them awake at night. So figure out what transitional rituals, what things you can do regularly every night that you can implement and embrace into your experience that will allow you to transition from the day, the busyness of the day, into the more relaxed part in the evening as you're winding down and relaxing and getting ready for sleep and rest. So transition rituals can be very helpful when we're working on moving away or taking breaks from that always on mentality, from that always on way of life. So think about how you can schedule times when you move away, consciously and purposely, intentionally move away from that always on way of being. Give yourself purposeful breaks from always being on. And then think about incorporating some transitional rituals in your daily experience. Maybe that's from work to your non-work life. Maybe that's from day to night, whatever works for you. But see how that can help you to relax and move away from needing to always be on, always be available, always be reachable, always be notified by everything about everything. That can really make a big difference in the number and the kinds of stressors to which you are exposed on a daily basis. So consider switching that always on mentality off, at least for some period of time during the day, and embrace transitioning from one part of the day to the other so that you can wind down, relax, and not be on all the time. And I think you'll see how much that can help you to decrease your exposure to stress. If you'd like to learn more about a comprehensive approach to stress management, check out the link below.